Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, before we get started, so I was supposed to actually go to MEPS tomorrow and do my hotel stay tonight, but my recruiter texted me, telling me some BS happened with MEPS, and they're gonna have to reschedule me. So, yeah. Which kind of works out in my favor a little bit, because I did actually have to work tomorrow, and even though I did find a person to cover my shift, I would have had to work on Saturday, and I really didn't want to work on Saturday. Plus, I got the whole message about going to MEPS at the last minute, and it was just stressful as hell to sit there and try to find someone to cover my shift. So, in a way, it kind of all worked out, and, we'll see what happens when they reschedule. So, let's start off with Brady and Kristen. So, Kristen gets bail, and the minute she gets bail, she's like, yeah, I want to jump bail and flee with Rachel. But Brady convinces her not to, because it's not going to be good for her or their daughter to constantly be on the run, to constantly be sitting there looking over their shoulders, and it's just better to stay and fight, and I really think that's a good idea. Plus, it'd be really interesting to see Kristen's character. I felt like she was kind of a big deal before I started watching the show, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what she's like. Now, let's go with Xander and Sarah, because Sarah pretty much decides that she wants to berate Xander for a half an hour. First of all, she's upset with Xander because one, he lied about who he was on the phone with, and also just the fact that he was responsible. Well, he played a hand in Philip getting arrested. The reason why it bothers her is because she feels like he's going back into his old ways, his, being a snake, just not being a good person. And so she's like, listen, if you go back to who you were, this whole thing isn't going to work out. And so Xander promised to be a good boy, and they make up, and then they play mattress tag. But here's my issue about their argument, or pretty much about her argument. You can't pick and choose the qualities in someone. You either got to sit there and take them as a whole, or just not take them at all. And people could be the best version of themselves, but sometimes, they're not always, it's not always black and white with people. And I feel like eventually Xander's going to get tired of tiptoeing around her. So I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. Or as I'm sitting there thinking in my mind, the next time that Xander screws up. Because, honestly, to tell you the truth, I felt like she was going to forgive him, because what he did as far as the whole being underhanded and being deceptive and stuff like that, it was nothing compared to why she broke up with him the first time, or the last time. So I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. Now let's talk about Jane Spears. Her plan is working as far as, causing problems between Bella and Sean. Because the minute that Bella came down to the station and was sitting there saying that she was representing Philip, Sean was not happy about that. Wasn't happy at all. And when, she pretty much had to she pretty much had to cancel their plans about going out to dinner, and she was like, don't worry about it, we'll do something afterwards. Oh, Sean wasn't having it, and he just walked off. Even as she was sitting there talking, he just walked off. So her plan, as far as trying to cause friction or whatever between them, is working. Um, Now here's the thing that I find really interesting. In the beginning of this episode, you can tell that Jane's manipulation with Claire was starting to work. Up until a point. So when Claire got to the station after Bella dragged her down there of seeing her with Jane, and she has a conversation with her father. And at first she's really defensive and stuff, and they talk and they kind of drop it. Claire gets back to her house, and she's, I guess, looking through old photos and stuff like that, listening to music. And Jane just decides to invite herself in her place. And she's all like, oh, well, you didn't hear me or anything like that, and, I figured I'd just let myself in. Okay. So she's like, she drops off a photo or whatever, I guess, that Claire dropped on her way to her house or to the station or whatever. And then she's like, I'll just let myself out. Claire had that look of worry, like, maybe my parents were kind of right about this chick. So I feel like they're going to get to that point. I feel like her manipulation with the whole Claire thing isn't as strong as she thinks. That's just my guess. And the last thing I'm going to sit there and talk about is Hope and Ben. There was a nice moment. First of all, there was a nice moment where Ben was sitting there making comparisons to Hope and Sierra. How she laughs, how she holds her pizza and stuff like that. And the reason why I actually like this scene is because you can see how much Ben loves Sierra. When you love someone, you pay attention to the little details in that person. About that person, what they do, how they laugh, how they smile, how they talk. And so it was nice seeing, and I felt like Hope actually saw, like how much Ben loved her, loved her daughter. Also, they do track down Vincent, and here's the thing: when Hope is like, is my daughter still alive? Vincent's like, I'm not saying anything without my attorney. And I'm like, right then and there, you kind of confirmed that she was alive. Because he could have easily been like, nope, she's dead, and that's it, and I'm not talking, whatever. But the fact that he hesitated and said that, I don't know. Plus, I mean, at this point, as far as the viewer is concerned, we all know that they're going to be sitting there replacing Hope. That they're going to be sitting there replacing Sierra with a new actress, so yeah, I guess it's just a matter of time. But anyway, they did actually track down Vincent and, bring him in, going to sit there and bring him in for questioning. And I got to sit there and say, when I wasn't watching Days and I was watching GH, it made me miss Days. Because there's a lot of times in this show where will just get to the point. They don't sit there. There's times they don't sit there and drag stuff out as long as GH. As long, as a longer time as GH would do. I feel like if this was a storyline that was on GH, they would have dragged their feet to sit there and try to, as far as, like, trying to find Vincent and stuff like that. So I gotta give props to Days as far as, like, not stretching it out as much as, as much as Days. So, yeah, props to them. And that's actually gonna do it. I felt like a lot didn't happen, but the stuff that did happen was pretty interesting. And, yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see how it unfolds, for the next 2 days. But anyway, that's actually gonna do it. I know sometimes these reviews are short, but I kind of like to get to the point. Again, I know I said this before, but I kind of like to get to the point of each character rather than sit there and saying it for word from word from word or whatever. And I hope people kind of like this style too. I hope people like this style too. Anyway, that's going to do it for this review. Let me know, did you actually like this episode? Did you not like it? What was your favorite favorite parts in this episode? And yeah, that's actually going to do it. So, I normally say something else. I kind of forgot what I usually say. There's something about be safe and stuff like that. But at this point, I think you know that I want everyone to be safe. And I want to thank people for just watching the channel, supporting me, supporting this whole military thing, and I'm very grateful for the comments and the encouragement and just the positive vibes, because I need them, especially with this whole process that's unfolding. So anyway, thank you so much, be safe, yes, and I will catch you in the next review.